Well, Arne, like for so much of this season.
Yeah. And again, we created a lot of chances. Maybe this time even more than normally. And normally we're a bit better if we create chances that we score goals. But today it took us a long time. And of course, a great moment for Trent. After working so hard to come back, being able to be with the squad and then come in and make the goal that makes a lot of...
Both posts in the third minute. Did you go from thinking, it's kind of a matter of time till we score, to as the game wears on, is it going to happen today?
No, I never felt it's not going to happen today because we kept creating chances. But you do know that if you play against a team that's almost relegated or very close to relegation, that it helps if you can kill the momentum immediately by scoring a goal. Hopefully find the second one immediately afterwards, and then it's normally an easy game for you. But if you don't score the first one and the stadium was sold out again because the league leaders come and they get a bit of momentum, they get a bit of belief for a result, then it gets more difficult and more difficult. That's why I was really happy and pleased with the second half where we created so many chances.
Yeah, and I know it's not done yet, but when you're in this situation, does every victory feel like a huge moment? Does every victory feel like a big step?
Yes, but it felt like big moments during the whole season. But of course, in the end, they seem to matter more because either you want to go to the Champions League if you are number 5 in the league, or if you're number 1 in the league, you want to stay in that position. You want to try to stay out of relegation. So in the end, it always feels that it's more important. But yeah, it was a good win, but with a lot of effort again.
Why does this team always find a way, do you think?
Because they just keep going. Mentally, they're really strong, and they just enjoy to play football. They enjoy to be out there trying to create, work very hard, not to concede, because I don't think, apart from the first half where they hit the post, they've created a lot. Maybe in extra time, one shot over quite high over the goal. So yeah, it's a bit of both. They enjoy playing football, and it always helps if you play for something special. Let's be honest.
Great to be able to turn to a player of Trent's quality. How special a moment was that? I mean, every question about him this season has really been about the contract. But forget that for a second. How good is he?
He's incredible. If he sets his mind to it. So I think if you play for such a long time at a club, there are always moments where you feel like, maybe again an away game where I've been so many times. But every time when moments really matter, so when he came in half an hour before the end against Newcastle, that's probably the best I've seen him play. And then against Paris Saint-Germain in the second half, where we really needed a goal, he stepped up. Unfortunately, he got injured in that game. And today, he knows when it matters most, he can just bring a bit more. And I think that is something only the top players have. And he has that definitely.
And those top players, as you say, you want to keep them. So can you see a way that he stays? It's felt for a while like that's been set on a path different to Virgil's and Mo Salah's. But can you see a way that he's doing magic things for Liverpool again next year?
I think my only good answer is to talk about his goal, because all the attention should go to his goal, the importance of his goal, the importance what he did for this club for so many years in a row, and even this season, this is my only season with him. And for him scoring a goal like this, all the headlines should be about him scoring this goal and not about his contract situation.
And again, all season long, you haven't wanted to dream, you haven't wanted to look too far ahead, but it's one game now. Yeah. It's one win. Is it harder and harder to hold back those dreams?
No, it's never hard to dream, but I think it's also clear that you saw this today as well, that we are really focused on playing. The boys deserve to have a day off, and hopefully they're going to enjoy that. And then when we are back together, it's full focus on Tottenham. And looking forward again to a home game. Probably the stadium will be full.
I'd have said it might be, yeah.
So it's a nice game to look forward to, but we have to focus on Tottenham, which we've played already 3 times this season, I think, and it's every time they've made a real competitive game for us. So we know what to expect, and we know we have to be ready.
Okay. So we'll see you at Anfield next week.
See you next week.
Thanks, Arne. All the best.
Relegation from the Premier League for Leicester. Only Norwich with 6 have more. Conor Cody talked about the difficulty in going week to week, losing game after game, and that run going on. And he talked about the toll that can take.
Yeah, it does. When you consider, obviously, generally, when you get promoted from the Championship, you're winning most weeks, and then it's almost the opposite when you get in the Premiership. And it's typical, you're going in every Monday after another defeat. It affects everyone at the club, and it drags you down. Just like he's been saying there, he seems like a pretty decent pro. I haven't said that when the previous manager left. Cooper, obviously, Cody was interviewed. He said we probably needed a new voice. The previous manager had only been there 3 months, so yeah, they do have to look in the mirror. You do have to look at yourself, but they've lacked quality. And if you're 7-8 games now without a goal, you're constantly under pressure. There was a good effort from today. It was too little, too late. It was just a matter of time when Liverpool were going to win the game and score. But yeah, it's a big few months now coming up for Leicester. What to do with the recruitment, which players they hold on to, what's going to happen with the manager. But they've bounced back before. You know, Leicester's a good football club. It's got a good history over the last few years in terms of winning the league and the FA Cup and brilliant training ground. And I've obviously had the setbacks with the owner here, obviously losing his life. They've had the real roller coaster ups and downs, and this is another disappointment for them. But they can bounce back. It's just keeping the heads, keeping a strong group of players who are decent pros to look to bounce back. We've seen other teams go down, but the key is if they do come back up, trying to get a foothold in the Premiership. You look at the league table there. The points total, the goals for, the goals against, it's not great.
Yeah, when I got relegated with Villa, and I just listening to his interview there, and he basically wants to tell us more. And when you go into training and you're working so hard, but ultimately it just comes down to quality. So when you go in there and you see all the staff working so hard, the players that are not good enough, and no matter what you do, no matter what you say, the confidence just gets drained right out of you. So they're coming into this game, okay, they know they're going to go down, and they played a better game. It was similar at Aston Villa at the time when the pressure's off, but they need to play well 10, 15 games ago. And when it needed to be stand up and be counted for, it just wasn't there. And I just seen the interview and it just brought back so many memories.
They'd have no belief now, Mike. I know they're playing a hard game. They could play a pub team tomorrow. They probably wouldn't believe they'll beat them.
Yeah.
All that belief has gone out the window now, and it's just... And the next 4 or 5 games, listen, that won't be easy. He's saying there we'll have to look in the mirror and reflect and react. You're supposed to be doing that since the start of the season. You know, you're not going to get a free pass in the next few games that you have in the Premier League. It doesn't... But what I like also about the Premiership, for teams who are struggling, it's brutal. This is a brutal game, and the reality's out there. We've seen Liverpool today, and we're all a little bit frustrated with Liverpool, but they still had loads and loads of chances. They were always going to win the game, but there's no hiding place. So if you are cutting corners or you aren't doing your homework as a club and you don't think you have the right manager or the right pre-season, you will be found out. Because there's too many good teams out there.
I think you can talk about what's happened here this season. I'm talking about promoted clubs. Leicester are a little bit different. We're talking about a team who won the Premier League. Under Brendan Rodgers, missed out on Champions League football 2 years running. Also won an FA Cup. The year after they finish 8th, they then go from 8th to 18th and get relegated. And that's where, the decisions around that season and where they find themselves right now, it's not just about sort of Ruud van Nistelrooy and the players here now. This is going on for 2 or 3 years. And Roy mentioned the position they put themselves in. I've just mentioned the trophies. Got the best training grounds in the country. Leicester, an established Premier League club. So you think of people at the top of the club, I think it's John Rudkin, who's the director of football there. The decisions that have been made at the top level that have obviously, filtered down to the pitch as well. That's where, real questions should be asked.
And what kind of building work can they do? That's what Conor Cody was talking about as well, to make sure that between now and the end of the season, and then again over the summer, that they're ready to come straight back up to the Premier League, because that will be their ambition.
Yeah, well, if Ruud decides to stay on again, we'll go back to recruitment, which players to hold on to. Will they get offered for some of the players? I don't look at too many players out there that they're going to have big offers. Do certain players have clauses where they can leave? Vardy, Cody, these players who have been good pros aren't getting any younger. Do you get rid of them lads? These are all big decisions that have to be made. And they'll have to start now because it's officially now during the Championship next year. But